was a man who walked with his head down, not because he was searching for anything, but because he was tired of carrying something no one else could see, a weight that lived inside him, heavy and silent and unforgiving. Every morning, Daniel woke with the same tightness in his chest, the same voice whispering that he wasn't enough. He had a job, an apartment, a routine, but no light in his eyes. He smiled when required, laughed when expected, yet inside he felt hollow, as if he were merely pretending to be alive. When people asked if he was okay, he would nod and change the subject. How could he explain a weight with no name? How could he tell anyone he was drowning on dry land? The origin of this burden remained lost to memory. Perhaps it began when his father left, or when his first love walked away without looking back. Perhaps it was the dream he abandoned, or words someone once spoke that carved themselves into his bones. The source no longer mattered. The stone existed, and carrying it had become his solitary burden. One evening, Daniel sat alone in a park as the sun set, painting the sky in shades of orange, red, and gold. The beauty went unnoticed. He stared at the ground, consumed by the invisible weight pressing down on his shoulders. An old man settled beside him. After a long silence, the stranger spoke. He could see the heaviness Daniel carried, the way he sat, the way he breathed, as though every breath required effort, as though he were holding up the world itself. Daniel's throat tightened. He wanted to deny it, but instead confessed in a whisper that the weight had always been there. The old man nodded with recognition. He had carried one too. When Daniel asked what happened to it, the answer came simply. He had let it go. Daniel shook his head. It couldn't be that simple. The old man agreed it wasn't simple, but insisted it was possible. Then he invited Daniel to walk with him. They moved through the park in silence, following a path into woods fragrant with earth and pine. At a river's edge, the old man bent down and retrieved a stone smooth, gray, and heavy. He placed it in Daniel's palm with a single instruction. Carry it. Initially, the stone seemed manageable, but minutes passed, and Daniel's hand began to ache. His fingers cramped, his arm grew weary. The stone's weight multiplied with every step until, after 20 minutes, Daniel stopped with shaking hands and burning muscles, confessing he could no longer hold it. The old man asked how long he had been carrying it. 20 minutes, perhaps less. And already it caused pain. Then the old man gestured toward the river and asked Daniel to imagine holding it for 20 years. The realization hit like a physical blow. The stone in his hand was just a rock, something he could release at any moment. But the one he carried within his chest, that stone he had held for so long that he believed it was part of him, that releasing it would cause him to fall apart. The truth was different. Letting it go would finally allow him to stand up straight. Daniel looked down at his white-knuckled grip. Slowly, deliberately, he opened his palm. The stone fell, striking the ground with a dull thud before rolling twice and coming to rest. In that moment, Daniel felt something unfamiliar. Relief. Fleeting, confined to his hand, but unmistakably present. The old man identified this as merely the first step. The harder work involved the invisible stone, though, one constructed from guilt, shame, regret, and fear. The one that whispered of unworthiness, of failure, of never being enough. This stone was the heaviest because Daniel had built it himself, piece by piece, year by year, carrying it out of a belief that he deserved such punishment. Daniel's eyes burned as he admitted he didn't know how to release it. The old man understood. Daniel believed the weight made him responsible, made him strong, but it only made him tired, and he was never meant to carry it at all. When Daniel asked what he should do, the old man walked to the water's edge and selected another stone, smaller, flatter. Ailed it up, explaining that any stone could be a boulder or a stepping stone. The difference wasn't in the stone itself, but in how one chose to see it. He placed the stone on the riverbank, stepped onto it, and used it to cross to the next one. Every pain, every failure, every loss could either crush or lift. The pain itself didn't change. The person did. Daniel watched the old man move with lightness and freedom. The wisdom continued. The moment one stops seeing the past as a prison, it transforms into a path. The moment one stops blaming oneself for being human, wholeness begins. The memories don't vanish. The hurt doesn't disappear, but they cease to define. The old man turned back with final words. Daniel was not his mistakes, not his trauma, not the things that happened to him. He was what he chose to do now, in this moment and every moment after. Something cracked inside Daniel, not breaking, but cracking like ice melting, like light pushing through. He stepped forward, retrieved the stone he had dropped, and examined it truly. Just a stone. Nothing more. He walked to the river and threw it in. It splashed, sank, and disappeared. For the first time in years, Daniel felt lighter. The old man's hand rested on his shoulder with the truth. The weight one carries doesn't create strength. Letting it go does. And the hardest part isn't the release, it's forgiving oneself for holding on so long. Daniel nodded his chest tight, not with weight, but with something warm and alive. They walked back in silence, beneath the rising moon. At the park's edge, the old man stopped to offer reassurance. The journey wouldn't be easy. Some days Daniel would pick up the stone again, but now he knew he could put it down. When Daniel turned to thank him, the old man had vanished into the trees and wind and night. But it didn't matter. Daniel understood. The lesson lived not in words, but in choice. The choice to stop carrying what was never his burden, to see his pain as proof of survival rather than prison. Evidence that he remained here, breathing, capable of change. That night, Daniel walked home with his head raised. The weight still whispered occasionally, but quieter now. And Daniel knew something he hadn't known before. He was stronger than the stone. He always had been. Life will deliver boulders. It will break and test and challenge everything. But those boulders need not stop anyone. They can become foundations, stepping stones, proof of refusing to surrender, evidence of choosing to rise. A person is not defined by what they carry, but by what they choose to release. And the moment that realization arrives, the moment the stone drops, that's when flight begins.